I have to say, I was a little disappointed in my community yesterday. That doesn't happen a lot. But yesterday, the team was here till 10 o'clock cleaning up after your ass. Leaving cups on the ground, trash here and there. Somebody got to pick that stuff up. Exactly. So don't disappoint me again. That was a very bad look. So if you are drinking coffee, enjoying the water, do you, but throw it away, because some adult is going to have to throw it away, and if you don't, somebody else will. So let's not make that mistake again, okay? Okay? Beautiful. So a couple of little touches I did this year that I'm not sure everybody saw. Do you know there's a personal note on the back of your cards? So again, if you don't know my story, I don't write very well. So this note, what is this, like 5 paragraphs? This took me like 3 hours and like 17 revisions. So hopefully it meant something new. It meant a lot to me to write it, to give it to you on the back of the cards. So hopefully you saw that. Of course. A couple of things just to give you some treats to think about. So again, we talked about the ORAT store. Obviously, all the books are autographed, but if you want to get an extra special, that thing that very few people have, because I've autographed probably 10,000 of these by now, but Olivia is here. And if you get one of these and you have her sign it, you'll have something that less than 100 people have. So I'm just saying, she is everything in this book, which she has called out dozens of times. And then if you really want to get jiggy with it, this book here, my second book, 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires, Jason Pritchard and his wife, Jen Pritchard, are in this book. So I am not aware of anybody except 2 people that have an autographed version of this, with my wife, Olivia, with Jason, and there is 0 people that I'm aware of that has Jen. Ha, 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 ha. So if you want to have something fun, something very few people have, go get it. It's upstairs. And again, we have the limited edition black hoodies, white hoodies, sweatpants. Go get them if you want. They're only sold here. Won't be sold anywhere else. Have some fun with that. And with that, we're going to get started with speakers number 1. We're having the lovely couple of Jeff and Suleika coming to the stage. Please welcome them. Give them some love. And get ready to learn about financial freedom done as a couple with house hacking.
Hello.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Suleika.
And I'm Jeff.
And together, we're
PTO for Life.
Anybody use PTO to come out here to this convention today? PTO?
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't it suck to have to
use it and not get it back, and you have to think about the rest of the year, like around the holidays now you have less, because even though this one's worth it, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So we're going to play a quick video. It's like 10 seconds, and it just kind of gives you an idea of what our life is like today, but it wasn't always like this. Definitely not. And it's not to impress you, but it is to impress upon you that it's possible. And early retirement, you can do whatever you want. I mean, whatever you want. We chose to do all this stuff, but you can really do whatever you want. It's your time back, and it's to impress upon you that it's possible. We were able to do it in under 7 years, and it's more attainable than you might think, because we'll go over exactly how we did it, and who knows, maybe one of you guys can turn into a house hacker, or if you're house hacking already, you might have some questions. You might have questions.
I'm on vacation every single day, 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 every single day.
And that's it. We are on vacation every single day. We don't have to go back to work tomorrow or the next day, because we decided to live a very unconventional life to now have this even more unconventional life as young as we are.
And like Zuber says, every day is Saturday.
There is a slide, though. So you can take them back.
Oh, yeah.
Come down.
So once we get the slides back. So let's take a journey back in time a year before our house hack journey started in 2016. And I'll just go into it since we don't have the slides up. Okay. Basically, I was living my best life. I had really good job, making good income, had a amazing condo with a spiral staircase, a duck pond outside. What else did I have? And I was 2 years, it took me to find this condo. I was that annoying picky buyer. It's like, no, I want this, this, this. I want the quartz countertops to reflect off that. I don't want the soft close cabinets. I was that guy. So I feel really bad for my realtor, which was my mom. Thanks, Mom. Love ya. And also, I invited Suleika to live with me during this time. She is my girlfriend. So she moved in 2016.
Yeah, so I had just graduated college. We had been dating throughout the whole time I was in college. I graduated. Jeff bought me this cute little Fiat, and he's like, I'd like for you to move in with me. And I was like, sweet, I get to be part of this condo. This is awesome. So we'd cook together, snuggled on the couch. We had no obligations, no kids, no nothing. So after work, it was just us time. It was great. It was fantastic. We had the whole house to ourselves. So it was good. It was a good time.
Yep.
And then one day, Jeff comes home.
Yep. I found this book called Build a Rental Property Empire by Mark Ferguson, who's a local investor in our state. We're from Denver, Colorado, by the way. Forgot to tell you guys that. And in the book, it was pretty straightforward investing book, kind of saying buy cash flowing rentals. And, without saying buy box, he said buy box. You should do it based on a criteria and making sure the numbers work and all that. So besides that point, there was one paragraph in that book that talked about buy a 2 to 4 unit property, live in one unit, rent out the others, live for free. And I was just blown away. I was like, wait a minute, I'm living in a condo right now, paying $1,500 a month, not living for free, sharing walls and all that with other people. And now I could just own the whole building myself. And I was just so blown away. I was like, this is amazing. I'm gonna run home, tell Suleika, and we're gonna get rid of this condo and go buy a 4 unit. So I come back, tell her the good news. I says, okay, what do you think about this? We're going to get rid of this condo, get rid of this beautiful place, and go buy a 4-plex, live in one, rent out the others, live for free, be able to leave our jobs sooner. And I already mapped it out because my background's corporate finance. It's like, okay, I'm going to forecast it out 10 years. There we go, Chester. 10 years from now, we're going to buy 10 of these 4-plexes with FHA financing, $500 a month cash flow, and the end of 10 would be $5,000. I was like, how does that sound?
And I was like, hell yeah, because he said, we'll be able to do more of the fun stuff that we're doing now. We just won't have to go to work anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is great. Let's do it. May we get the slides, please? Because it's just so much better. We can have a visual. Oh, okay. Awesome. So we did that, and we got this other realtor, not his mom. I think his mom was burnt out by this time. She's like, you know what? It took me 2 years every weekend to show you this condo. I'm done. So she didn't do that one. But we did find this realtor, and he was like, oh, check out this duplex. I know it's not a 4-plex what you want, but check out this duplex. We'll go ahead and, okay, so there's Jeff's apartment, his little duck pond, his car, the whole thing. And then,
G37, awesome car.
This was the original game plan.
Yep.
We do 10 house hacks, and then we get $5,000 a month, and it was like, all right, let's do this. But we pivoted, and that was how we started our journey. So that duplex that our realtor introduced to us.
Yeah, so we listed the condo for sale, and we found this duplex. Not that one particular, that's just a fun picture.
We didn't take any picture of that place, no.
We did not take any pictures of it. 1 week before, so we were gonna do a double close, sell the condo, move into the duplex, pretty much same day. So move out, move in. And 1 week before we were gonna close, the listing agent reaches out to my buyer agent and tells them, hey, these tenants want to talk to you guys before you move in and tell you some stuff. And we're like, cool, well, we're happy to meet them.
Yeah, we're like, all right, we'll ask them if they want to stay will be living next to him, so that's kind of cool. Well, we go and we sit down. We're like at Starbucks or something, and I'm translating because they're a Spanish-speaking couple, and they kind of seem off. They're not really talking about anything like specific. So then Jeff's like, ask him if there's anything we should know about the property. Okay, so I do. I ask them, and the lady kind of nudges her husband, and he nudges her back, and they're just like a little off. And she goes, chinches. And I was like, what? And Jeff,
What are chinches? What
she's
the
like,
heck is
what
that?
the heck is a chinche? And I still hadn't translated, and I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, yeah, all this on my face, my arms. She pulls her sleeves up, and she goes, I'm getting like eaten alive. My husband, my kids, like we're out of there. We're gonna get out of there. It's so bad. We just felt really bad for whoever was buying it. You guys seem really young, and it's not fair to you to buy a property like this. And so I was like, oh my God, Jeff, she said they have bed bugs and it's like probably an infestation or something. And I wasn't prepared for that. Like we knew we probably would have to do some work in a house, but I didn't even know I was gonna draw the line at bed bugs. So I told Jeff, I don't think we should buy this place.
Yeah, and I agreed. I was like, I don't want to live in a place with infestation. So that was kind of like our one deal breaker, I guess, was bed bugs. Because when we did the research, it was like, this is frightening. They could survive for 9 months without feeding.
Inspector.
Yeah. So we got literally, we told our buyer agent, tell the listing agent we're going to terminate. Listing agent told the seller. Seller said these tenants are lying. And, you know, we're like, okay, why would they lie about that when they have marks all over their face? Like, what's their motivation? So we sent out a pest person to check out, and the pest person just confirmed everything that they were saying. It's a huge infestation. The bed bugs are in the vents, and the baseboards, and the floors, everywhere. Like, he needs to like do a 5 to 10 like whole like cover up the house like place.
We literally would have to tear down the drywall down to the studs and like fumigate both sides, and like it was just gonna be forever. So, and that was the day we move in was the day we were moving out of the other place. So we were homeless for about 4 months. My sister, luckily, like when we found that out and we were terminating. Oh, and then our realtor was bullying us, like, oh, you guys are weak. If you don't buy it, I'll buy it. You guys are passing up a good deal.
He never bought it, actually.
No, he never did. He wanted us to buy it. He never bought it. So then he found us another property, and this is the fourplex. We wanted a fourplex.
We actually bought, so we actually got a fourplex 4 months later and still living in the basement.
At my sister's house,
Yep.
yeah. And so we're like, finally, we got this place, cool. We didn't get a walkthrough right before. And we didn't, what else did the...
They didn't give us, so we missed some things. Like the leases, we only got one lease because we found out later that they're paying the prior landlord cash and he didn't keep any records. And our same realtor was just like, oh, you'll get the leases or you'll get it when you meet them. All these things to make, like, dismiss it. And the same thing with kind of everything else. It's like, yeah, just you'll deal with it when it comes. Like, it's a pretty easy project and all that.
We trusted him blindly. And then we ended up with everything but bed bugs. Like, literally everything was wrong with this place. So we had to renovate everything, and it took us another 4 months before we can finally move into our place. We put a lot of sweat equity into this. We didn't know a lot of, this is our first, like, house hack and our first anything. Like, we were so green, we didn't know what the heck we were doing. We'd have to drive to work, go to this house, fix it, do whatever we needed to do, and then drive back to my sister's, which was 40 minutes away, and do the same thing for like 4 months straight. It was awful. Anything you want to say about that?
2 full-time jobs and very stressful, but
we did it, and our love just kept us together. We were
Yes.
just so happy that we were doing something great. This is young Jeff and Suleika. And even on a Friday night, for example, like, there was one time where we just had this like fitted blanket and we just like laid on the floor and we just fell asleep. Like, we didn't have to go to work the next day, but we had to work on this house. We had to keep just going. And it finally transitioned to where it was so nice, we actually decided to like throw it up on Airbnb. And we're like, we just got a couple months left, let's just throw it up on Airbnb. And we became super hosts, which was fun.
And the numbers are pretty good. So original goal, going back to that 10 houses, we live for free. We're still able to achieve that. Took about 4 months before we could move in because of all the work. But the original goal applied. So living there, we did live for free. We did rented the back couple units we kept them long-term tenants, and then did Airbnb in our unit and rented the bottom out and lived for free. And then the day we moved out, rented out our unit, and we were cash flowing $700 a month. So nice, good start.
Then we decided, all right, let's do this again, but let's not do a fourplex. Let's go to a single family house instead. So this was built out like a bi-level. So we rented it upstairs to a family.
And we took the downstairs, took the basement, and we tried now the rent by room or co-living strategy. So we're in the basement, renting out 2 rooms down there, and renting out the upstairs to a family of 5.
Yeah, this was the house. I shared a bathroom with like 3 other boys. One thing on that one, I came home, like when you guys get home, do you like automatically have to go pee? That's like a thing for me. Like I just have to go to the bathroom. So I come home and like go to the bathroom and like somebody's in there. So I'm like, okay, so I'm waiting. I'm like, God, what's going on? It's taking forever. All right, finally I hear the toilet flush. So I was like, cool, all right. Then he washes his hands. Good, at least he washes his hands. Awesome. Then he comes out and he kind of looks at me like, oh shoot. And then I walked in and then walked right back out. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I don't want to live like this. But I got through it. Eventually, I just started going to the gym and just doing my stuff over there. Even showers. I would just shower at the gym. It was just great motivation to get me to the gym. And then it was so close to home. And then I'd come home. But the numbers were good. Jeff was okay with that.
Price point was much less because it was like a single family with mother-in-law or unofficial duplex. And then because we were doing rent by room, we were able to cash flow, get paid $300 a month to live there. And then the day we moved out, and this is the most important one, is, you know, Zuber talks about all the time, is you got to make sure the number, after, like more or less, buy it like an investment property, make sure it cash flows. And that's where I was always day one like that. I want to even do better than that with cash flow and living there. But more importantly, the day we moved out, we're hitting $1,000 per month cash flow after move out.
Yeah, awesome. And it was a lot less stuff to do in there. It was pretty much ready to go upstairs for that family. We added a kitchen downstairs. There was enough room for us to be able to add one for us down there. And then some yard work. That was fun to do. And it's kind of zero-scaped in a way, which helps with keeping it, like just maintaining it. Yeah. Moving on, we kept going.
Yes, so 1 year later, we found our little niche of like find these kind of properties that were the right zoning, but you could do up and down separately. So we like rent by room, we like renting to long-term tenants, and now this one was even bigger. So it was 4 bedrooms up top, and because we didn't like sharing that bathroom anymore with all those guys, we got our own master bathroom with a master bedroom with a private bathroom, and that was like, what a luxury to use your and this one we actually had our first inherited tenant, inherited tenant that was Section 8. So we were introduced to that strategy. So we had to kind of learn about that strategy, and then it was completely move-in ready. We were able to get in there as soon as possible, rent the rooms out. Already had that basement rented out. Yeah. And this one... Not
a lot of work. It was already nice, ready to go inside. The way I set up living rooms, if you guys ever house hack, not a good idea. Don't get a TV for your living room. Just set it up like a doctor's office waiting room. That way you don't have people just lounging there, leaving their socks around, their shoes kicked off. Just a nice space for someone to live in. Oops. Oh. And then...
Oh, the numbers too on it.
Oh, sorry, baby.
Like one more. Yep.
Oops.
So, yeah, so living there. So you see how we're getting more optimized and doing better for each one. Is because we were learning, you know, we got to find stuff a little more. We have W-2 jobs. We want to find stuff more move-in ready. So this one, because we're renting out 3 rooms instead of 2, the cash flow living there was $550 a month, and the day moving out was over $1,400.
And then the world happened in ways things do, right? At the coronavirus, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at what's going on TV, who died yesterday, how many people are dying today, and like this world is in chaos. For Jeff, he was busy just looking at properties. Like, he was like, oh my God, the rates are going down. Like, we need to buy something fast. Like, let me see if I can get like the biggest place. When he made that face, I was like, ooh, babe, like, make that face. Like, let me take a picture. Like, this is so funny. Like, this world is on fire, and you're over here looking at properties. Well, we ended up buying that property. Like, Jeff was so excited about it. We did close on it. We did it.
So this one was a duplex with ADU. So that front one's up-down duplex, and there's a back ADU. 10 beds total. So front duplex we rented to market tenant, Section 8, and the back ADU is a 4-bed. And we took, again, the master bedroom with private bath, rent out 3 rooms, and it was even better because at this time, this rate was 2.75. So just amazing for owner-occupied. And $800 a month cash flow living there, and the day we moved out, $1,600. So you see the rental income snowballs is getting bigger and bigger.
That's right. And so just a couple of minor work, some yard work that we needed to do there. There's like the kind of where the back house was, and just moving some appliances around. Nothing too crazy. We spent a lot of our time just in our room together all the time, and again, just a very basic living room, no TV, so you walk in and you don't have just people chilling there all the time. Keeps it nice and neat too. And then we found another house, which was just like around the corner, so I couldn't fit the bed frame on my car. The mattress was up, but Jeff just walked the bed frame over.
2 blocks away, carrying a mattress. It was heavier than I thought.
Yeah. I was encouraging Jeff in my car. I was like, you got this, Jeff. Like, yeah, we didn't move too far. And that house we closed on Cinco de Mayo. 5th house, Cinco de Mayo. That was fun. That was a good time.
And this one was our first time seeing a property like this. So it depends on your market. This was the house with little tiny house or ADU. And because it was just us, no pets, no kids, we took the little tiny house, 1 bed, 1 bath, 750 square feet, and rented out the main house to 4 guys. And because rates at this time are still reasonably low, we finally had our own unit, own privacy, detached, no quiet hours, all the fun you want to have. And $200 a month still being paid that much for those guys renting the front house. And then when we rented out the back house, it was at $1,500 per month.
Cool. So here's what the front looked like. Inside it was ready to go. Not a whole lot to do inside on that one. And then our tiny house, we were so excited that we decided to host Thanksgiving that year. Even though it's only 750 square feet, we're like, we're hosting it. So Jeff's parents came over, my family came over, and we all just squeezed in, and we were just so happy we can finally have a kitchen to ourselves, cook, and host something. So we definitely went for that, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then this happened.
All right, so I got my license on that right before that property in 2021, and then 2 months later, I find this beautiful house with walkout basement about like up the street, like another couple blocks away, actually. And I was so excited. I was like, "Hey, Salika, let me just show, I know we can't buy anything, but let me just show you this one just to show you."
Yeah, it was like 4th of July, so I was like, we just bought a place, babe. No, but I want to show you this place. All right, let's go check it out. So we go check it out, I walk in, I'm like, dang, this is nice, I love it. Oh, there's a walkout, like there's so much space. Crap, I wish we could just buy it anyway. And no, we had just bought, so we kind of couldn't, so I'm there. Like, it's like dinner time, and I'm still thinking about this house. And I'm like eating pizza, drinking a beer, and great ideas happen when you're drinking beer. In this case at least, but I was like, Jeff, what about this like 1031 thing? What if you get rid of your worst property, your worst performing property, and you buy this one instead? Can't you just kind of push the money over? And Jeff's like, that'd be a good idea, but no, the price difference, it has to be equal or less, right? Or
yep.
equal pricing, equal to greater. And I was like, dang it. Well, maybe there's a condo and we can get 2. And
2 for 1 special. So I didn't even think about it. I was just so focused, like, dang it, we have to wait 1 year because that's when the clock restarts, 365 days. So I was like, okay, we're done. But then she's like, well, just sell your worst one. I'm like, our worst one was our first one. So that one we had, for whatever reason, it was just a problem property, like maintenance headaches, tenant headaches, thin walls, to say the least. And because that was the worst one, and this was right at the time at the summer, so great time to just list it for sale. So that's what we did. We listed for sale, found a buyer on that one, moved all that equity to that beautiful single family that we did rent by room in, and then the 3-2 condo, because we had to sell it and exceed that sales price number. And cash flow went from, our best year was at $700 per month, just because it was always a maintenance headache. And then these two properties combined from $700 to $1,600 per month. So really optimized it and got rid of that prom property to 2 well-performing assets.
Yay. Yay, thank you. So we kept it moving. By the time our year was up, we went to our 6th property. That one was also easy peasy, not too bad. Couple of maintenance things here and there, but it was move-in ready. So we went from living in our own little space where we were able to host Thanksgiving back to a house now with 7 roommates. We had our own bathroom still, but we kind of took a step back to go forward again.
Yeah, because this is right in April of 2022 when rates were starting to creep up, and I was like, oh, we got to get something right before rates go up, because this is just an amazing time. And this was the best deal. So it still worked, but we had to make it a just monster rent by room. So it was a 6-bed, 2-bath place. We added a bathroom for us in the master, and then added another bedroom in the basement. Rent out 6 rooms, still cash flowing at that $300, $300 a month. And then after you rented out the master, it was still $1,200 per month, even at the slightly higher rate.
Cool, and then we ended up getting married after 10 years of dating. We forgot to even get married. Let's get married, and we used it to our advantage, though, too, because when you get married, you have a change of life circumstance, so you can actually buy another property. You don't have to wait the full year, and we're like, yeah, let's use this to our advantage.
Yeah.
We didn't spend a whole lot, guys, definitely not. I mean, for both weddings combined, because one of them was in Colorado for Jeff's family, and then one of them was in Cancun with just my family. Combined, it was like $5,000. It was nothing.
Yeah.
I found this dress at the Ark. This one, Amazon, $30. I'm not even gonna spend that much money because we needed to buy another house. So
that's why she's the one.
And we did.
Yeah. So December 2022, we got a side-by-side duplex. That was 5 bedrooms each side. So monster place. Yeah. Really big duplex. And the best part, it had a separate entrance to the basement, because we have basements. A lot of houses have, or multifamilies have basements in Colorado. So we were like, we only need 2 couple bedrooms for the upstairs. So we rented one side on Section 8, and then the bottom unit next to us we did for just a normal long-term tenant.
Yes, so downstairs we just added a little kitchen. Everything else was ready to go, and so we closed it off so that the tenant can just go downstairs, and we stayed upstairs, just us. Again, our little place here, a little room, this is actually where we lived. My plants had a little happy home.
And this one shows, this is when rates did go up, so we got this one at 6%. So even at the high price point that you see up there, $760,000, 6%, it still made sense because we have higher rents in Colorado, in Denver, basically, to make up for the high price. And because we were sacrificing our unit, we were able to still cash flow just a little bit, living there, $100 a month. And then the day we moved out, we rented out 2 sides separately on Section 8.
And this is where we currently live, our most recent house hack, which is a triplex. We live in the end unit. And cash flowing that one as well. We got our own little space. It's good to go. And just added a couple things, moved some things around, updated the bathroom a little bit, and the kitchen as well. It was just so murky and took that wall down, took those cabinets out of the way, and just kind of opened it up. I was like, could I just do something in this one? This is just too tight. So it worked out.
Yeah.
Need the numbers?
Yeah, go back really quick to the numbers. So yeah, this one, now we're at 6.75. So this is a great example of a deal today. This was last July, 2024. And the reason it worked was, again, the higher rents to make up for it. So we did 1 Section 8, 1 market tenant. And no roommates here, so we have our own unit, just 1 shared wall at the end. but it still works. Deals could still happen today if you really are aggressive and make those disrespectful offers. Where's Mike? Yep. And this is my favorite chart because, I'm a financial analyst at heart. Where's Chester? There we go. So this one's kind of detailing our journey from all those numbers I presented. So our number one goal in 2017 was to live for free. We did that, so we got rid of that $1,500 a month condo payment with HOA, moved over to that fourplex, a lot of work, and then live for free. And then the more important number I want to point out is 2021. If you'd see 4 years later, like 4.5 years later, we hit almost $5K per month in net cash flow. And that our original goal was 10 years. And we were able to do it in 5 because we're willing to be flexible, put ourselves in uncomfortable spots, and make things happen. And then, most recently this year, you can see it just keeps growing like a bigger income snowball because we're optimizing stuff. And shout out Lumberjack Landlord for helping us optimize.
Oh my gosh.
Great course in boot camp.
If it wasn't for his course,
Yes.
we just really took it from last year's ORAT to now. That huge jump without buying an extra house, that's amazing. Just for optimizing what we currently own, his course, we even took it again. We're like, let's see what we can do this year.
Yeah.
What can we learn? Let's make it happen. So you want that one slide again?
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay.
And then this slide is for the people that have families. So we were obviously very unique and a couple with no kids, no pets, because I need a lot of attention and I couldn't compete with a dog or a kid. So, so if that's not you and you have a family with kids, this is the same places, same journey. I just put a little chart for you. So blue dots are us and where the cash flow went, and then yellow is a family of 3 kids. The only difference is the family with kids would take the whole basement to themselves or the half duplex to themselves. So they're going slightly more negative to start for the first few years because, they're not living with roommates and all that. But you could see on the chart, as it shows, they're kind of 2 years behind. So eventually they do catch up because they could still do all the same strategies. They just have to wait a year or 2 extra to really do the same results. But in the end, you could see it grows as well. The rental income snowball keeps growing for them, and eventually they're at a fantastic spot in their 8th, 9th year of $13,000 per month and still living in whatever unit they're at.
Yes, so basically, again, our point is it is possible. It's possible. This family with 3 kids buying the same exact houses we did would still be able to do it. I was curious about that, what if a family did it with our same exact houses? Well, it would still work out for them. Here are our details, and if you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Good job.
Oh.
Yes.
Is it upside down?
Upside down.
Oh my God. Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. That's amazing. Again, they've been on the channel. We don't have time. They will be here. They will take your questions. They are a wonderful couple. We're running a little bit late because I'm a little bit late, which I feel terrible about, at least a little bit. Again, one of the things I love about their story, they've been on my channel a lot, we'll be on a lot more going forward, is they did it together. They did what a lot of wealthy people do, is they, at least at a perception level, took steps back. Right? Can you imagine? I mean, seriously, can you imagine celebrating, what was it, after their fifth house? I think it might have been their 6th, where they had their own unit. Right? Can you imagine being a woman sharing a bathroom with 5 disgusting guys? I mean, seriously. I couldn't even imagine that. But they did it together. They had a plan. They earned financial freedom their way, and they're living their best life, PTO for life. So thank you very much. Wonderful job. Thank you for being here. All right, so next up for you, we have one of the 4 Avengers, a young man that I saw a Facebook post on. Mr. Millennial Mike put a post on Facebook when he celebrated buying his first house hack in Seattle. All he did was have a picture holding some keys. It was very early in my YouTube journey. I think I had less than 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. Probably had only done 500 or 600 videos at that point. And I sent him... When I say 500, people are like, wow, that's a lot. Like, no, 15,000 is a lot. But yeah. But he reached out, I reached out, he's cold, and he came on, and he's been a friend ever since. I had the luxury, Olivia and I both had a luxury of attending an event in Seattle, and they had him give just a random talk in the back, kind of like just on the side. And he is so eloquent, tells such amazing stories. I think you will be amazed, and he will do this without PowerPoint, which always gets my respect. So, Mr. Millennial Mike, out-of-state investing.
Thank you very much. Wow, he just really set the bar high after Jeff and Suleika set it really high. Good morning. My name is Mike Newton. My mother did not name me Millennial, and then Mike. And had I known that my YouTube moniker was going to stick with me forever, I might have chosen something a little different than Millennial Mike, maybe something a little more relevant like Lumberjack Landlord. That actually makes sense for somebody who's a landlord. Or Dion talk financial freedom, or one rental at a time, but I am who I am. For those of you who don't know me, I am a full-time single dad. I've had full custody of my son since he was 2. I am a full-time police officer. I'm a SWAT officer. I've been a cop for 10 years. And I've been investing in real estate since 2018 when I started with house hacking. And what I wanted to do today, I'm going to talk about out-of-state investing because I know a lot of you, like me, live in a really expensive area like Seattle or Florida or DC or anywhere on either one of the coasts, and you say these numbers don't make sense, I can't find cash flow, I'm doing the work, I'm assessing the deals, I'm broadening the area that I'm looking at, and all of the deals are still negative. And when I found that problem in Seattle, I decided that I was going to invest in the Midwest where the numbers make more sense, where I buy houses for $50,000 to $100,000. They rent out for $1,000 to $1,500 a month. I have a mortgage payment that's cheaper than most people's car payment. And before you get really, really excited, Mike always likes to remind me, you can go broke buying cheap. So we'll get into that pretty quick here. But I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I never share with you guys ever, and that's kind of what I do as a cop. I don't talk about it that much because talking about police stuff on social media can get the people that I arrest interested in figuring out how to destroy my life. Beyond the threats to kill me and stuff that they usually make, most of the time they're drunk, and occasionally they shoot at me, but I don't take it personally because they're just shooting at all of us. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like to be on the SWAT team and the mentality that we have to have on the SWAT team. It's so much different than being a regular police officer. What we do before we do any operation is we plan and we plan and we plan and we plan for every contingency. What happens when this barricaded subject takes somebody as a hostage? What happens when the barricaded subject starts shooting out at us? What happens when we're on approach to go make entry to the door? We start receiving fire. What happens when an officer goes down? What are our immediate action drills and immediate action plans to secure that officer, take cover, return fire, move back to a secure area, gas the house? We have all of this different planning, and we just go over and over, and we plan for contingencies. And that's the mindset that I want you guys to have when it comes to real estate, because what I've noticed is so many of the people that I've helped get started investing out of state at a distance, or even just people who invest locally, is they start to run into problems. And I approach it from my cop background of, well, yeah, I mean, I assumed nobody was going to pay me rent and that the gangbangers were going to take over the neighborhood. And, I don't know, some politician was going to just roll in and decide they didn't like it. Like, I just assume everything bad is going to happen. And then when it doesn't, I'm really, really pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to tell you guys a story about Wishram, Washington, this little tiny town, middle of nowhere, on the Columbia River, right on the border of Oregon and Washington. And we get a page on our phones, 2 in the morning. All hands response, code run, and from where I'm at in Seattle to Wishram, Washington, it's like 4 hours of lights and sirens, just 150 miles an hour, white-knuckling the steering wheel, like, God, I'm going to fall asleep, don't you? And at 120, you're not going to make that one. So the whole team is just going balls to the wall all the way down to Wishram, Washington, and we get there, and It's the weirdest scene I've ever seen. Normally responding to a house or a trailer or, something like that. This is a car that was in a pursuit being chased by deputies. It was a domestic violence suspect. He'd been shooting at deputies. He drives his car onto some train tracks, and halfway down the train tracks towards a giant tunnel. And it's on this mounted like pier, dike type thing with just narrow enough for train tracks and a car to sit on it. And his car's disabled out there. Well, this sucks because there's 50 yards where we have to leave cover to get to his car. And for those of you out there who don't have law enforcement backgrounds, when you leave cover, something like, this is actually just concealment, but let's pretend this is a solid wall. I can't get shot. I can get shot. I can't get shot. Now I have to move 50 yards of being able to get shot. It doesn't feel good. It's one of those hindbrain instincts most of us have where you're like, I really just don't like the way this feels, You know what I mean? So anyways, we're like, well, great. How are we going to get all the way out there? His car's on the train tracks. And what we ended up having to do is take our giant armored vehicle. It's called a Bear. And that thing sucks to drive. Sucks even worse to drive on train tracks and gravel. So we're like, don't tip, because it's just a 50-yard embankment down to the Columbia River and some water reservoir. And the Bear does not swim. It's not going to work. So anyways, we're like, all right. So we start rolling the Bear out there, and we get it in position. And we're giving commands to the dude, hey, this is the police. Hands up. Come out with your pants on. All the typical stuff we tell people. And he's in there, screaming and yelling, just kill me. I want to die. I'm ready to go. And, we hear this stuff all the time. And, you hit him with one little thing of pepper ball, which is like a paintball, but it has pepper spray in it. You hit them with that once, and they go, I give up. I'm just kidding. I don't actually want to die. They come out crying. No big deal. We all go home happy. We slap each other's butts, get breakfast, call ourselves cool guys, that type of stuff. So anyways, so we get out there, and we're like, all right, hey, come out. And he's like, I'm not coming out. We're like, oh, you're coming out. No, I'm not coming out. And so what we do, because, again, we plan for contingencies. And in the law enforcement world, we have a use of force continuum. So we want to start at the lowest level of force and slowly ramp our way up. A lot of people think, oh, SWAT dudes, you just come out and smoke somebody, right? No, Your Honor, no. SWAT stands for Special Weapons and Tactics. Again, what I want you guys to think of when it comes to your real estate portfolios and real estate investing. What special weapons and tactics can you apply to the situations that you're dealing with in 2025 to help overcome the problems and secure your objective, getting rental properties one at a time? And so for us, we start at the lowest level of force, which is just us arriving. We put a hostage crisis negotiator out there to talk really nice to him. Hey, man, you want to talk about your feelings? Those dorks, God bless them. They are technically on the team. But anyway, so they're out there, they're whispering sweet nothings into this guy's ear over a loudspeaker. Good for them, while we do the cool work. So I get put on a less lethal platform. It's called the pepperball gun. I was talking about you guys about that earlier. And so I get a little element, me and two dudes, and we're supposed to kind of move around the side so we can flank the car. The Bear is right here yelling at the car, and I have to come down the embankment so that they can't shoot at me, with rocks and all this gear, kind of come up. And now I have a pepper ball. This dude's already shot all the windows out of his car, which is great, because now I can put the pepper spray, right into the front window and right in his face. And usually, as I said, that gets people to do what we comply, Your Honor. We're looking for compliance. And so I start, just loading this car up, hoping he's going to come out. And bless his soul, he was committed. No, he was not coming out. So we load the car up and all right, well, that's not working. Now we got to go back around to the Bear. And now I'm stepping out on this side of the Bear, and he's got his passenger door swung open, and he's kind of just sitting there with his legs out. And he's got his gun. Now, at this point, we had started using technology. Again, what can we do to make the problem easier? We don't just want to run in there and get ourselves shot. So we're using not drones, UAVs, because it's Washington, and drone is way too militaristic. We can't say that word in our reports. So we're using UAVs. Whatever. So we fly this UAV over, and we set it down right on the hood of the car, and we're looking at him like, yeah, we see what you're doing. And we see homeboy has a gun duct taped to his hand. He is very committed. Well, because what happens if he drops the gun, then we don't have to shoot him. And he keeps saying over and over again, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. Well, if you can't physically drop the gun, you're going to force our hand when he comes out. Tough situation. So I get up on top of the bear, and now the use of force has gone from just filling the car with pepper ball to we're actually going to hit him with it. We're going to have some little bit of pain compliance. So I just hit this dude in the chest like 50 times because we're trying to do not all at once. It's like 50 times over 8 minutes or something, so here's what happens. I'm behind the bear, and mind you, we've got all these guys that are actually on lethal platforms. We don't use less lethal unless we have lethal cover. So I step out. All right, Newton. They don't call me Millennial Mike on the team. Newton, light him up. And then all of a sudden, pew, pew, pew. And I'm like, I'm back behind cover. I don't want to be here right now. And I kept expecting somebody to smoke the guy. And they did it. And I was like, but we're on the Columbia River. There's nobody around. And he's kind of just shooting indiscriminately out the window, not at me. It still feels like it's at me because I'm, it's in response to what I'm doing. We deal with this guy going back and forth with this. Finally, we're like, all right, we're taking a tri-chamber CS gas, something that we would use in an entire riot crowd of this size. And we're going to load this guy's car up with it. So the wind's blowing into his car, so we toss it just shy of the door, and this thing just starts filling the car. You can't see. You can't breathe. It's torture. So he finally decides to come out. And he starts to come out the passenger side, and we're like, he's going to run down to the water. And he comes out, and he starts hopping up and down because he's trying to get the gas off him. Gun still taped to his hand, and we're like, what do we do? He's not shooting yet, but it's very easy to go from this to gotcha. So we're like, oh boy. So anyways, again, you have to plan for every contingency. We failed. Not yet. We failed. He comes out, slides down the embankment into the Columbia River, and now we're like, well, what do we do? He's doing the front stroke with a gun taped to his hand. And so we're all like, and he's swimming towards the tunnel where the train is. I'm like, there's train with passengers in there. Like, oh man, we can't. What are we going to do? Well, again, on this raised platform that the train is on, there's this little pipe that runs from the Columbia River to the reservoir. Sure as crap, he just swims in there. Oh my God, every single problem, everything that could go wrong on this call keeps going wrong. So he's in there. What are you going to do? Just stick your face in there? That's not going to work. So we try tying another CS can to some rope and lassoing it in there. That didn't work. We're not cowboys. Finally, we just had to have somebody real brave and stupid. Guess who? Do that thing right there. And so and then that filled up with gas. He came out the other side. And I'll tell you what, we finally had a canine arrive. Sometimes they're called fur missiles. There was nothing that scared this man. He took one look at this German Shepherd and gave up on the spot. I was like, maybe we should have led with Fido. At this point, we're 12 hours deep. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 98 degrees. I'm in 70 pounds worth of SWAT gear, and I'm just ready to die. Thank God and then, as always afterwards, oh, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you, talking me down. Bro. Bro. All right. Now to tell that story, sure. Again, I tell you that story because what I want you guys to think about with real estate, with out-of-state investing, which I'm going to get to in a minute, is that everything can go wrong. Everything can go wrong. And you should plan on everything going wrong. There's 3 people that I really look up to in this community. Obviously, my big brother, the lumberjack landlord. Then there's Dad, Dion. And there's my hero, Michael Zuber. And in Mike's book, he talks about the very first property that he bought. There was a hammer party that happened there. He collected 1 month worth of rent from the tenant. The tenant then got divorced, never paid rent again, and destroyed his property. And even Michael Zuber said in that moment, he thought, I'm done. I must have screwed up. I don't want to do it. And he always credits his wife, Olivia, who's very lovely. You should get her signatures in your books. Credits his wife, Olivia, for talking him off the ledge and saying, hey, we didn't do anything wrong. We just got unlucky. So what I want you guys to think about is the fact that, even if you are doing everything right and you're doing the work and you get the property and you vetted the tenant and the tenant was in there and you vetted the contractor and you all these different things, somebody's going to steal some money from you and somebody's not going to pay. Somebody's going to, spend way too much time in the bathroom when you have to pee. You know, it's gonna be weird stuff that happens, you know? And you just have to be ready mentally and emotionally to deal with those problems. If you don't set yourself up for success today, you're gonna regret it tomorrow. Now, let me talk about out-of-state investing. A lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, are sick and tired of not being able to find a cash flowing deal. And then when they find my channel or they hear about what I do, they get very, very excited about the opportunity to buy these very cheap rentals in cheap markets that rent for a good cash flow amount, where they could actually get a return that makes real estate investing make sense. I'm very excited about that too, but it's not that easy. When it comes to building your out-of-state investing team, there are a few key players that you need to focus on. Now, most people would say, oh, okay, you know, real estate agent, I need some contractors, a property manager. The first and most important person on your out-of-state investing team, which most people don't think about, is your network of other investors that are already in the area. So when I got started in, I'm not wearing my hat today, but Gary, Indiana, and I don't know if Brian Adamson's here today. Usually I say, well, at least it's not Detroit. Sorry, Brian. Gary, Indiana, sorry, Chester, it's my man right there. Dubbed America's most miserable city, the 1993 murder capital of the country, 3 times the national poverty rate, 3 times the national crime rate, 13,000 abandoned buildings, just some of our many accolades we like to brag about. Most people say, who in their right mind would ever invest in a city like this? And I said, well, I'm going to retire from the SWAT team eventually, and if I still want to get shot at, you know what I mean? Just go visit my rental properties. Just kidding. So anyways, I'm looking, I get recommended to me from a fellow investor, somebody who followed Michael Zuber's channel, who just happened to see when Zuber talked about, he saw that post of me holding a key back in 2018. He asked me to come on his channel. Less than 2,000 subscribers. I said, yeah, sure. And this other police officer on the East Coast saw the video and just wanted to chat. So we started chatting, and he was telling me about his real estate journey, and I watched him expand his portfolio into Gary, and I said all the same things you guys are saying, which is, no. And he's like, no, Mike, you should try it. I'm good, bro. I'm so good. And I watched him expand this portfolio, and I was like, all right, you know what? It's just at this point disrespectful for me to keep saying you're wrong when I haven't even done any due diligence. I haven't made any effort to even explore the market. So I'm like, all right, I'll make a phone call. I'll call this turnkey provider that you've recommended. And I call and I chat with them, and they seem like really nice guys, and they are great guys. Tom Olson out of Indiana. And they got a $60,000 single-family house. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and this was in 2020, so I was getting a 3% interest rate on it. My mortgage payment to this day is $343 a month. It's pretty low, right? Yeah. The rent at that time was $875, right? So again, still small margins, but I was gonna make about $250 in profit after vacancies and maintenance and things like that get set aside. Like, okay, I can make sense of those numbers. It's a $60,000 house, so my 20% down payment's only $12,000. And if I make a mistake, I don't want to make a $12,000 mistake, but if I made that mistake in Washington, that's a $120,000 mistake because it's 10x the price and not 10x the rent. I'm like, all right, I'll buy this property. And I buy it, and I grit my teeth, and I'm like, okay, and I'm going to get the call. There was a double homicide. The gangbangers have rolled in. It burnt to the ground. And the call never came. It wasn't that bad. I sat there 4 or 5 months in. I was like, all right, I'll do another one. So then I bought a $50,000 house, and then I bought a $34,000 house. And I found out that the cheapest a mortgage company will go was a $25,000 mortgage. They've since changed that. Now you usually can't get under 50. But houses were so cheap, and the mortgage payments were so low, and the rent was decent. I was like, all right. So I picked up a couple of these. Well, what rented for $800 back then now rents for $1,200 or $1,300. So now these properties are really doing well for me. And this is where people get really excited, and I'm happy you're excited. But be careful, you can go broke buying cheap. So anyways, I'm like, okay, why was I able to start investing in an area that every metric you've heard from Bigger Pockets would say not to invest in? It's a declining population. At one point, Gary, Indiana had almost 200,000 people. And then because of deindustrialization, North American Free Trade Agreement, steel manufacturing leaves our country. The city of Gary was founded by the U.S. Steel Corporation in 1906. All those steel jobs, 90,000 of them, slowly get whittled away down to nothing. and it's just this ghost town of abandoned buildings and crime. Well, I probably should invest there, right? And then look at the crime. Look at the school. And other than Dion saying, I don't like good school areas, I never heard anybody else ever say that, and I didn't know him yet. Dion with his Dionisms. Anyway, so what got me over the hump to where I felt comfortable doing it? And as I thought about that, to make presentations, to talk to people, it really was the most important person on your team is the other investors who you can have check your work, who you can talk to, who aren't trying to sell you anything, who you're not just paying a bunch of money to, but just your peers, your friends. Hey man, what property manager did you use? Do you like this neighborhood? Do you think I should buy this? Because different markets do differently, you know? Lumberjack Landlord has a bunch of 4, 5, 6, 7 unit buildings. In Gary, Indiana, you're going to struggle with anything bigger than a triplex because people with a Section 8 voucher, it just says 3 bedrooms. So you could do 3 bedrooms in a multi-unit or 3 bedrooms in a single-family house. Well, what would you guys want to live in? I'd want the single-family house, right? So there's little niche problems and things like that in every market, and you need somebody to coach you or help you or mentor you or just talk to you through those types of things. So if you're taking notes, the number one most important person is that other investor or the network of other investors who can check your work. Number 2 after that, property manager. Shout out to my investment broker, Angelo. I don't know where he went. There he is over there. From Gary, Indiana, managing properties. We finally got so frustrated with property managers, we just started our own company, headed by him. I can't take too much credit. But the property manager, they know the local laws that you don't know. In Washington, with the duplex that I house hacked, that I got started with, I provide all of the appliances. In Gary, Indiana, if you provide the appliances, they're going to be stolen. So it's just culturally normal. You don't provide appliances, and all the tenants know it, and all of the landlords know it. And if I hadn't, I would have just been like, yeah, we're going to put a fridge and a stove and a washer and a dryer, and they would have been, thank you very much. We'll see you later. Would have never seen those people again. So there's weird little things like that. Well, how do the eviction laws work? Well, very different in Washington than they are in Indiana. Let me tell you about rent control in Seattle. Oh, you're thinking of raising your rent? You're actually going to pay your tenants 6 months, and now they're going to have an equity position in your building. That's a real law that was on the books they were trying to get passed in Washington. They wanted tenants to have an equity position based on the rent they paid in your properties. Bro, I don't like to get too political, but no. So anyways, having somebody who can navigate, become an expert on those local laws, like Angelo, a property manager, is extremely important. And you have to have local trusted boots on the ground, especially in a hard area like Gary, where most people say, when they ask me, Mike, what zip codes do you look at? Bro, I look block by block because this block looks great, and one block over, it looks like Civil War-torn Syria. And you're not sure if you just took a portal to the Middle East. Like, I probably don't want to be there because it looks like a bomb went off. The only thing worse than a bomb, no, I won't make that joke. It's too political. Sorry, Mike. Anyways, you need trusted boots on the ground. Well, how do you find them? Great, Mike, I get it. I need trusted boots. How do I find those guys? My recommendation is you should get savvy with social media. Guess what? Almost every single city in the country has a Facebook investment group. I started the Gary, Indiana Facebook investment group, which has like 1,200 members. But before that, it was just Indianapolis and Indiana investment Facebook groups. And if you typed in Seattle investment Facebook group or Las Vegas, you're going to find all these different Facebook groups with thousands of people in there. Okay, we'll go. Who's making posts? Who's doing deals? People love to complain. Which property manager gets trash talked all the time? Don't use them, right? So how do you find the local trusted boots? You go to where people are congregating to talk about these things. After Facebook, get on YouTube. If you, right now, were to pull out your phones and type in real estate investing, you could search through 100 pages of YouTube content and never find a video from me. You might see some Michael Zuber in there. You might see some Dion, maybe the Lumberjack. You're not going to find me. I'm way too small. But if you type in YouTube right now on your phone, real estate investing, Gary, Indiana, I'm the first 100 results. No one else was crazy enough to do it, sure. But the point is if you niche down to specifically where you're looking, specifically your market, Hardin County, Kentucky, Pierce County, Washington, Aberdeen, Washington, some small city or your city, if you start looking in that area, there'll likely be at least 1 or 2 people, small-time YouTubers like me, who are making videos about the area, who you could actually talk to. They'll take the time to talk to you. They don't have 100,000 subscribers or 10 million subscribers. They have 400, and they talk to people in their area all the time, and that's how you find trusted boots on the ground, or you start stealing from their team, which, again, unlike what school taught you, which is not to plagiarize, I highly recommend that you cheat and steal and plagiarize everybody's stuff, and this isn't my jurisdiction, so don't worry, you're not getting arrested. I'm going to check my time, make sure I'm not going over here on the time. All right, I'm respectful of your clock, Mike. What I want you guys to do is to find that network of other investors, to find somebody like Angelo. And you know how I found Angelo? I started calling because one piece of wisdom I got from Mike after our very first conversation, he gave me 2 pieces of advice: learn seller financing, and you have to network more. And for everybody out there, we all know we have to network more. We all know that. I mean, that's why we're here. But what does that really mean? Talk to as many people as you can. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I might seem a little extroverted, but I don't actually like to just force myself to have to talk to new people all the time. But I decided I would. Every property online that I saw that I liked, I would call the listing agent directly. This is forcing me to talk to like 5 to 10 new agents a week. I'm talking to all these new people. I'm letting them know my buy box. People are calling me back. People are emailing me back. I'm getting a bunch of leads that aren't on Realtor.com yet, or the MLS or anything like that. Well, that's how I ran into Angelo. He was just one of the people I called. And I'll tell you, when you talk to a real estate agent that actually knows what they're talking about with the investment community, you're going to recognize it very quickly. When you say seller financing, and he goes, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. A lot of agents don't say that. When you say off-market properties and they don't become immediately offended, and they go, oh, yeah, well, we should look at the tax sales. Because in Gary, there's quite a lot, as you could imagine, that the city owns and wants to unload on somebody. And so when you find that smart individual who's a hustler, who's a hard worker, you're going to pick up on it. And the way Angelo became my trusted boots on the ground is I was just like, hey, man, I'm looking at this property. Could you swing by and take a look at it? And he would take video driving down the street one way, driving the street the other way, break into the house because no one's lived there for 24 years and there's no lockbox, but he has a real estate license, officer. So, hello. Real estate agent, come out with your hands up. Good luck, Angelo. He carries, don't worry. I've made sure that he's safe. So, but I mean, that's, he's my guy. He does that for me. He risks his life out there for me. My first responding agent right there. Anyways. But what I want you guys to find somebody that you trust in your market that you can rely on so that I can call them 3 or 4 weeks before an event like this and say, Angelo, you got to come to the event. There's a lot of people interested in Gary. You got to be here. He's like, should I get VIP? I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's, oh, all right. He just is like, yeah, of course, I'll be there. I'm like, yeah. But that's the guy you want or girl you want on your team in whatever market you're looking at. And I can't overstress how important it is to find those relationships before you start doing the spreadsheets. Because even if you found the best cash flowing property with the greatest return on paper in Excel, if you don't have the right pieces in place to actually make it happen, then you're not going to get the tenants. It's not going to get rented out. It's not going to be managed right. And your spreadsheet falls apart because you never even finished step 1, which was just rent it. Or step 2, collect rent. Or step 3, not have them have a hammer party and destroy the property or steal your appliances. And so find other investors. Find trusted boots on the ground. Then from there, you can start networking. Next person on your team is going to be where are you getting leads from for properties. Real estate agents are a great source, but that's not the only source. My recommendation is you've got to call wholesalers, because wholesalers love to buy properties cheap for cash, right? But they also have to turn around and sell them because we all know they ain't buying nothing. They're reassigning a contract. They're lying. God bless you. You ain't buying nothing. And if you can't find a cash buyer, oh, well, I'm getting out of this contract in 3 seconds. Bye, So, okay. You need to talk to wholesalers and do what I did, which was use my network and steal a wholesale from the lumberjack landlord, Dung Tai, who took his course and has like 70 rentals in New York and is a wholesaler. He was like, Mike, I'm going to do some wholesaling in Gary for you. I was like, cool, dude. Well, Dung Tai understands seller financing. And I told him what I'm looking for. So Dung Tai soft pitched seller financing to a guy, and then I went out there and closed the deal, and I was able to get a house for $20,000, 0 down, 0% interest. I just have to pay $400 a month until it's paid off, which is like 4 years. And I bought, so $20,000 purchase price. Day one, it was worth $60. I remodeled it. It's now worth like $200, and it's a beautiful duplex. And that's one of the ones that we manage. Yeah, you manage that one. Oh, okay, perfect. Hey, thanks. Thanks. I told him to call me when I had 15 minutes. Appreciate you, but see, that's right. That's my guy right there. Who's calling me so I know what my time limit is? Anyways, you need to go beyond just real estate agents. You need to talk to wholesalers because they have great opportunities. They're the ones who are spending a lot of money to flood an area with pamphlets and leaflets to try to get leads on cheap houses, and then you teach them about seller financing, and all of a sudden more deals are coming your way. Mike, how am I doing for time? Should I take questions? Yeah. Let me do some questions, please. Let's hear it. If there are any questions, feel free to get up there and ask so that I have something else to talk about. Troy, appreciate you.
You bet, Mike. From experience, he was one of the first guys I reached out to when I started looking at investing out of state. So live about an hour and a half north of where he lives, but I invest in Kansas City, Missouri. So I was looking at buying a property over there. I got locked into a contract in 2023 in December. I have a duplex, and it's been a little over a year now over there. So I've been investing out of state on my own. I've never touched 1 foot on my property yet.
Yeah, very well done.
So he was one of the first guys I reached out to ask a bunch of questions about what should I prepare myself for, how do I build a team, what do I do to be able to manage my clients, and I self-manage. So it's not an easy thing to do, but honestly, you just figure it out. So if any of you guys are out there looking to invest out of state, don't be afraid to do it. Mm-hmm. Mike, for you, what is one of the biggest challenges that you have investing in Gary, Indiana right now, currently, since you've been there for a while now?
Yeah, so the challenges have changed a little bit over time, but what I deal with right now is a big problem, is finding good tenants. So Section 8 vouchers in Gary, Indiana, the city has 2,600. Only about 800 of them are currently being used. So anybody out there is like, oh, there's a lot of unused vouchers, right? Not all Section 8 tenants are created equal. And so I have bottlenecks with, I bring a whole bunch of units to the market, and it takes me longer to get them rented than it used to. I still get them rented, and when I get them rented, they stay. But instead of the 4 weeks it used to take, it might take me 3 months. And so if you're a brand new investor, you might feel that mortgage payment for a little while. Can you do that? Should you do that? I've got 27 units. I can just sit there and wait for the right tenant. You might not be able to. Things like that you need to know from the people in your market before you shoot yourself in the foot and have to field a mortgage payment for 3 months that you just barely stretched to get into a property. So that's my biggest hurdle right now, is the good tenants. Great question. Thanks, man. Chester?
Definitely, again, appreciate the transparency and the honesty with everything, Mike. One of the things that I'm again, just recently closing on a property, like you said, Detroit.
My man.
The thing that I was just kind of thinking about, like as you were kind of describing and going through your story, do you ever, like, now again, it's kind of dependent, but like, would you recommend for somebody who is thinking about out of state, like, after finding somebody like, the trusted boots on the ground, to go visit and like physically be there, kind of similar to thinking about what Brian was mentioning yesterday about like seeing, like, and this might have been part of a sidebar conversation as well, like if somebody like gets a recommendation, talk to that person, like say, for example, like if it's a contractor, and then see some of their work when they're not there,
yeah,
or things like that, almost kind of like spot checking.
That is a great question. So I bought my first 3 houses in Indiana before ever going there. Never set foot on the ground, bought them all completely virtual. But I do think it's important to go and actually be in that area. Maybe not necessarily before you buy, but it's not a bad idea. And I'll tell you what's become even more important as the years have gone on, and this is something Angelo and I deal with a lot. I go to Gary not to look at houses, not to check on deals. I go to check on relationships. I go to spend time with the people who matter to me. Number one, my boy. But I've had other property managers, and I still have some that manage other properties. I go to make sure I put the FaceTime in with people so that they know I care and that I'm checked in and that they, what does Matt always say? People do what's inspected, not what's expected. I'm there to make sure that we're all on the same page. Zuber has a weekly call with his property managers. I think it's a great idea. I like to go in person ideally twice a year, but I absolutely have the call as well. So good. And spot checking contractors specifically, I have gone and looked at work contractors have done before hiring them. Yes, but I don't always have that option. But it's not a bad idea. Thanks, man. Yeah. Athena?
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
So I'm wondering if you have some tips on how to build those relationships with people online and whatnot. I'm like terrible at even texting. I'm like, do I try to like just direct message people? Like any tips on how to build those relationships through Facebook groups and stuff?
Well, I have successfully weaseled my way all the way onto stage in front of you guys. So I'm really good at it. I watched YouTube videos and I paid attention, and I could tell you the Lumberjacks and Zubers and Dion's entire story from start to finish myself. I could sit up in here and do their whole presentation for them. Not as well, but for them. If you care enough about the people you're trying to talk to, that will show. And so if you're interested in investing in a market and you care enough about your properties and your success and stuff like that, then that's going to shine through in the questions that you ask and in the conversations you have. And not everybody's going to want to talk. But believe it or not, most people's favorite word is their own name. And people love to share their own stories. And so if you sit there and say, how did you do it? What do you think? What would your advice be to someone like me? You're really successful. What should I? That's what I asked Mike at the end of our conversation. Mike, got all these rental properties, 20 years of experience. I'm brand new. What do I do? And he said, network and learn seller financing. You know what I did? I did both of those things. And I'm sure he'll tell you, he gives advice to a lot of people. Not everybody takes him up on it. When you come back and say, I did exactly what you said to do, and it's not working, well, now they're invested in helping you. Or if it is working, then they get to be proud of this person they've helped. And so don't feel bad if not everyone wants to have the conversation. It doesn't have to be like some like kumbaya, we love each other type thing, even though Mike and I do, obviously. But that came, with time. But it doesn't have to be like that. The first guy I ever talked to about Gary, Indiana, just two cops who chat about real estate. And that's about it. It's not like we're super close or anything like that. So just have the conversations, keep having the conversations, and then do what they recommend.
Okay, and so kind of just reach out to them initially, asking them questions about what they're doing,
Yeah.
how they did it. Okay.
People love to tell their story.
Yeah.
What are you doing that works for you? What do you think I should do? Bro, you could get hours of lectures like that. So it's a good idea.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, my friend who was my boots on the ground in North Carolina for me recently moved to Florida.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So I'm trying to figure out, I really need to, up that networking and finding more people.
Right? Yeah, no, you should. You should before a problem happens.
Yes.
Thank you. John?
Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
I wanted to just say that, I had some pretty serious mindset issues before I started really doing a lot of investing and whatever. Mm-hmm. And, I ended up being the nerdy guy with the headphones on all the time while I'm working. I work at a base, I'm working on tanks, and I just got these headphones on all the time and just ignoring everybody because I'm focusing on people like yourself, like Mr. Zuber here, Lumberjack, Dion. All you guys are just heroes to me. And I can't thank you guys enough for really putting me on a path that I am so happy with, that I'm making this journey, making it much nicer for myself, for my family. I feel like I'm in a real tribe of like-minded people here.
Yes.
And it is just so satisfying to know that you guys have our backs all the time. Anytime I've had a question, you've been there. We've talked back and forth doing short-term rental stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Of course, yeah. Community is all you guys. Thanks, John. Thank you. Nate?
Hi. Great information today. Thank you. I'm from your sister city there, Missoula, not too far from you. I wanted to see if you could speak for a minute about length of stay for your tenants and like how turning the property factors into your cash flow,
Yeah.
because on those lower prices, you kind of know where I'm going, but I'm kind of curious, like length of stay. And
Yeah. And that is something that I have learned as time went on. That's why I'm trying to move to about 75% of my tenants as Section 8 because they stay longer.
Got it.
In the city of Gary, as I mentioned earlier, there's 2,600 vouchers. There's about 800 people who are currently being housed with those vouchers. If you get into a property, it's like winning the lottery. It's very tough. And so most of the Section 8 tenants are very well behaved, and they don't want to get kicked off of the program because that's their meal ticket. And so Section 8 tenants, in my experience, have stayed a lot longer, and they're a little bit better on the property. Private tenants, it's hit or miss. The private tenant quality that I have in the Seattle area is way different.
Yeah.
I've rented to nurses, I've rented to lawyers, not in Gary, Indiana. And so I have tried to move away from private tenants and instead partner with the government. And my advice to everybody would be, you need to learn these types of programs. All of the three amigos and then myself all do Section 8. Is the government going to continue to subsidize people, or which politician is going to come out and slash that program? That's not going to be popular. So I think that what has worked for me was moving to Section 8, and I get people who stay longer because I'm trying to avoid tenant turnover, and especially from private tenants, which might come with an eviction, which then comes with a larger repair. I want to avoid all of that.
And just to follow up on that, then I don't know too much. I know what Section 8 is, but I don't really know like how much you get paid and stuff like that. But is the tenant responsible then for anything, or is it like a full? It can't.
Yeah, they can be. So it's a different percentage, and it's going to depend on what they qualify for. Sometimes Section 8 will pay for the whole thing.
Okay.
But who's your property manager? Who's your fellow investors in your market that will know? Because mine is standing right next to you, and he's got a spreadsheet that will show you every zip code, every room size, for everything, and that's what we do. We just get together and we talk about stuff.
And since he doesn't have a microphone, do you only work in Gary, or do you work in some of the other neighboring cities?
Yeah, you got to pay for his plane?
You don't have to answer that in front of everybody. We can talk about it later.
Can't steal my boy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, one more question for Mike, and then he'll be around. You can ask him.
Yes.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
All right, man. I can't let you have too many easy questions. I got to give you a difficult one.
Boy.
All right?
Oh, boy.
So we've been doing this thing for a minute. You know, how has your investing in Gary changed or evolved since we've been doing it, since you first came out?
So I started with my very first property was a turnkey. And if I could go back in time to 2020 and buy $60,000 houses with 3% interest rates, I would buy as many as I possibly could. But that's not the market we're in anymore. And everybody here knows that. So then things started to change to, well, maybe I could do turnkey light. I like to call them low-calorie, zero-sugar diet turnkeys. Like, it just needs a little bit of work, right? You know, just a little bit. Maybe some carpet or a window, a couple dead bodies cleared out of the basement. You know, whatever. It's just small stuff, right? But as I became more and more experienced, we can do full projects. We can do complete and total rentals. Angelo, again, because he's my boy, we legally entered a house. We had permission from the owner, who was a pastor of a church. We entered the house legally. It just didn't look like it because he didn't have the locks. Thing was abandoned since 2003. Yeah, I know, right? I was like 12. So anyways, we break into this thing legally, and we're wading through the house, and I start to go down the staircase to the lower basement, and the staircase just falls apart under me, and I grab onto the banister, and then Angelo's like, bro, and I'm like, okay, and I do a pull-up to lower myself down, and go scout out the bottom, and then he has to hoist me back up because I was going to be locked down there. But we were, now are able to take on full-scale remodels like that. But that might not be your starting area. And so I do still recommend for a lot of people who are struggling to find deals at cash flow, turnkey is very hard right now, but maybe you can find turnkey light. Maybe you can find somebody who you're confident to do some projects like just windows and paint and carpet, things like that. And you can buy something under market valued or get it at a good price from a wholesaler or negotiate seller financing. Bring in somebody who can help you do some smaller projects while you start to learn how to do big, that will help you learn bigger projects. And, you're off to the races. At some point, you'll be where we're at, and one day, I'll be where he's at. And on that note, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then that is his championship ring.
Thank you.
Of course.